At first, they were upset that I hadn't contacted them despite doing well. They tried to make it seem like they were doing me a favor by suggesting I pay for the college education of two children I barely knew anymore. I told them immediately that I wouldn't do it and that it was disrespectful of them to expect me to. I became angry and reminded them that they were the reason I had to work during college and pay for my own education. They had decided to save their money for their real children, who they thought deserved it more. Back then, they refused to support me, so I told them they had no right to expect anything from me now, especially financial help. I pointed out that I never questioned their decision to prioritize the twins, and had simply stayed out of their way. Because of this, they no longer had the right to demand anything from me, including communication. I suggested they could now use the money they saved for the twins' education. I had nothing else to say, so I asked them to leave. I regretted letting them into my house in the first place, thinking they might come to apologize for how they treated me. Instead, they became irritated and tried to shift the blame. When I insisted they leave, they told me I wasn't innocent either. They claimed I was over-involved, overly emotional, and irritable when we lived together. I was only a teenager back then, just trying to keep in touch with my family as they distanced themselves from me. I didn't believe those were real issues they had with me. Then, they had the nerve to say I was just as bad as them because I denied their request. They accused me of forgetting all the years my mother had cared for me and raised me alone. They said this was my chance to make it up to her and my siblings. But I was being rude and ungrateful. I found it ridiculous that they brought this up. I was a child back then. I didn't have a choice about relying on them. Besides, it wasn't as if they actually helped me. They pushed me out of the house as soon as they thought I was old enough to manage on my own.